Demons who are never interested in praising the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they have no information of Him go to the demigods, and in Bhagavad Gita this is condemned. Persons who go to the demigods and pray for advancement in sinful activities are considered to be bereft of all intelligence. Demons have lost all intelligence because they do not know what is actually their self-interest. Even if they have information of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they decline to approach Him. It is not possible for them to get their desired boons from the Supreme Lord because their purposes are always sinful. It is said that the dacoits in Bengal used to worship the goddess Kali for fulfillment of their sinful desires to plunder others' property. But they never went to a Vishnu temple because they might have been unsuccessful in praying to Vishnu. Therefore, the prayers of the demigods or the devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are always untinged by sinful purposes. Tataha sapatnam mukattas charantam akuto bhayam jaganotpatya gadaya hanav asuram akshachaha. The Lord who had appeared from the nostril of Brahma sprang and aimed his mace at the chin of his enemy, the Hiranyaksha demon who was stalking fearlessly before him. Sahata tena gadaya vihata bhagavat karat vighurnita patatreje tad adbhutam iva bhavat. Struck by the demon's mace, however, the Lord's mace slipped from his hand and looked splendid as it fell down whirling. This was miraculous, for the mace was blazing wonderfully. Satada labdhat tirto api nababhade nirayudham manayam samridhe dharmam vishvakshenam prakopayam. Even though the demon had an excellent opportunity to strike his unarmed foe without obstruction, he respected the law of single combat, therefore kindling and therefore invoked Sudarshana discourse. Tam vyagrachakram ditiputra dhamena swaparshadamukkhena visajjamanam chitra vacho atatvidam kecharanam tatra smasan swastite amum jahiti. As the discus began to revolve in the Lord's hands and the Lord contended at close quarters with the chief of his Vaikuntha attendants, who had been born as Hiranyaksha, a vile son of Diti, there issued from every direction strange expressions uttered by those who were witnessing from airplanes. They had no knowledge of the Lord's reality and they cried, "May victory attend you! Pray dispatch him, play no more with him." Satam Nishamya atta rathangam agrado vyavastitam padmapalashalochanam vilokya chamarshat pariplutendriyo rusha swadantachadam adasat shavasan. When the demon saw the personality of Godhead, who had eyes just like lotus petals standing in position before him, armed with the Sudarshana discus, his senses were overpowered by indignation. He began to hiss like a serpent and he bit his lip in great resentment. Karaladam stras chakshurbyam sanchakshano dahan iva abhiplutya swagadaya hato tarim. The demon, who had fearful tusks, stared at the personality of Godhead as though to burn him. Springing into the air, he aimed his mace at the Lord, exclaiming at the same time, "You are slain! Pada savyena tam sadho bhagavan yajnasukaraha leelaya mishattah shatraho praharad vataram hasam." O saintly Vidura, while his enemy looked on, the Lord in his boar form, the enjoyer of all sacrificial offerings, playfully knocked down the mace with his left foot, even as it came upon him with the force of a tempest. Ahachayudam adhatsva gatasvatvam jigashasi iti yuktah sattada bhuyas tadayam vyanadhat brisham. The Lord then said, "Take up your weapon and try again, eager as you are to conquer me." Challenged in these words, the demon aimed his mace at the Lord and once more loudly roared. Tam sa apatatim vikshya bhagavan samavastitah jagraha leelaya praptam garutman iva pannagim. When the Lord saw the mace flying towards him, he stood firmly where he was and caught it with the same ease as Garuda, the king of birds, would seize serpent. Swapaurushe pratihate hatamano mahasuraha naichat gadam divyamanam harina vigada prabha. His valor was thus frustrated. The great demon felt humiliated and was put out of countenance. He was reluctant to take back the mace when it was offered by the personality of Godhead. So I will read the translations. He now took a trident which was as rapacious as a flaming fire and hurled it against the Lord, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, even as one would use penance for a malevolent purpose against a holy Brahmana. Hurled by the mighty demon with all his strength, the flying trident shone brightly in the sky. The personality of Godhead, however, tore it to pieces with his discus Sudarshana, which had a sharp-edged rim, even as Indra cut off a wing of Garuda. The demon was enraged when his trident was cut to pieces by the discus of the personality of Godhead. He therefore advanced towards the Lord and, roaring loud, struck his hard fist against the Lord's broad chest, which bore the mark of Srivatsa. Then he went out of sight. Hit in this manner by the demon of Vidura, the Lord, who had appeared as the first boar, did not feel the least quaking in any part of his body, any more than an elephant would when struck with the wreath of flowers. The demon, however, employed many conjuring tricks against the personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of Yogamaya, At the sight of this, the people were filled with alarm and thought that the dissolution of the universe was near. Fierce winds began to blow from all directions, spreading darkness occasioned by dust and hailstorms. Stones came in volleys from every corner as if thrown by machine guns. The luminaries in outer space disappeared due to the skies being overcast with masses of clouds, which were accompanied by lightning and thunder. The sky rained pus, hair, blood, stool, urine, and bones. O sinless Vidura, mountains discharged weapons of various kinds, and naked demonesses armed with tridents appeared with their hair hanging loose. Cruel and savage slogans were uttered by hosts of ruffian yakshas and rakshasas, who all either marched on foot or rode on horses, elephants, or chariots. The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharged his beloved Sudarshana, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demons. At that very moment, a shudder suddenly ran through the heart of Diti, the mother of Hiranyaksha. She recalled the words of her husband Kashyapa, and blood flowed from her breasts. When the demon saw his magic forces dispelled, he once again came into the presence of the personality of Godhead, Keshava, and full of rage tried to embrace him within his arms to crush him. But to his great amazement, he found the Lord standing outside the circle of his arms. The demon now began to strike the Lord with his hard fists, but Lord Adhokshaja slapped him in the root of the ear, even as Indra, the lord of the Maruts, hit the demon Vrata. Though struck indifferently by the Lord, the conqueror of all, the demon's body began to wheel. His eyeballs bulged out of their sockets, his arms and legs broken, and the hair on the head scattered. He fell down dead like a gigantic tree uprooted by the wind. Aja, Brahma, and others arrived on the spot to see the fearfully tusked demon lying on the ground, biting his lip. The glow of his face was yet unfaded, and Brahma admiringly said, "Oh, who could meet such blessed death?" Brahma continued, "He was struck by a forefoot of the Lord, whom yogis seeking freedom from their unreal material bodies meditate upon in seclusion and mystic trance. While glazing on his countenance, his crest jewel of Diti's sons was cast off his mortal coil." Nitai Gaur Premanande Varahadev ki. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading the brilliant pastime of Varahadev killing Hiranyaksha. And although we read it in black and white on the print in the book, and although our imagination and our senses are limited, and our size and our dimensions are also limited, we are able to, as small limited beings, experience it in a small way. But this is a gigantic occurrence. Gigantic is itself not a proper word, because amongst human beings, giant means somebody huge. But we are talking about people. We are talking about people who play ball with the planets. We are talking about people who actually throw the planet in the Garbhodaka ocean, and another, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lifts it with his nose and brings it back. So what do you know is the diameter of the whole Earth planet? Who knows? Those of you who are studying the 5th canto. Huh? 1 lakh yojanas. It's some 4 billion miles. 1 lakh yojanas means into 8, it's 8 lakh miles. It's too small. It's 4 billion miles. Can you imagine? What is the size of that? 4 billion miles. I think that's what it is. You can read and see. In the 5th canto there is a mention about it. Maybe you can take it out and see. Tell us, what is the diameter and the radius of the Earth planet? And that huge size which I am talking can be accommodated on the top of the nose of Varahadev. Then what should be the diameter of the nose of Varahadev? Which means what will be the face? Which will be what will be the body? Can you see the size? After some moment we stop thinking about it anymore. It's too huge to even think about it. You know? Sometimes on your calculator you have 2 big figures, it will come E, error. You cannot calculate beyond a certain extent. It's not that the numbers are wrong. It's not that it's an error. It means beyond this the machine cannot work. So sometimes it is so huge that we think, forget it. I don't want to think about it. Because it's beyond my capacity. So we are talking about events that are so huge, interplanetary, even bigger than interplanetary. Because planets are being thrown around. You see what's the event? The planets are being thrown around. And all of them are watching in space on airplanes. And everybody is moving around in objects and watching, because these 2 huge individuals are fighting. And those airplanes also must be chota. They must be flying around here and there, and these 2 huge individuals are fighting, and they are bigger than planets, because they can take the Earth planet in a small way. So a very huge event is going on. So we may not even be able to see it because it is so huge. You have to fly in the sky to see it. That's why people are situated in the airplanes, to see it properly. Because it's a fantastic event. If you miss it, you're gone. All the demigods have come in the skies, in their airplanes, with all their consorts and everybody. Parada, free show. Sound and light show. Free holographic show, and all the shows we are seeing, projections and everything. This is super duper show. Live fighting. And why? Because the Lord desires to fight. Out of his virya rasa, he wants to fight. He wants to enjoy fighting. And so he is empowering Jaya and Vijaya. You go, I will come. We will fight. This is the internal desire of the Lord. He also wants to fight once in a while. Just like Hiranyaksha is saying, I want to fight, and going to Varuna. And Varuna is saying, you rascal, the right person is coming to fight with you. Just you wait. Just you wait, Mr. Hiranyaksha, just you wait. The right person is coming for you. And here the right person has come, so even Hiranyaksha is very enthused. This is the type of person I should fight with. All other chota-mota fellows have been fighting. Boring. Every time I win. So boring. There is no challenge. There is no variety. But this is full of variety. Why? The Lord is not in a particular form that you normally see him in Vaikuntha. He's assumed an Adbhuta Rupam. Huge boar. And how is he killing Hiranyaksha? He beat him with this. You cannot think 5 fingers, hands, it will be a hoof. He beat him with this hoof at the lower end of his ears, and he fell down. After all that big show, everything, very small thing he did, and he fell down. This is the other thing. That means his slap with his hoof would be so powerful that Hiranyaksha fell down dead. 1 shot, that's all. Only 1. And how much Hiranyaksha beat him up, Hiranyaksha pounded his chest and sent the mace and sent the so many things. But finally, Lord Varaha just slapped him. He fell down. So you can imagine how powerful Lord Varaha will be. That size and that power. So that's why it's very exciting to devotees to watch that the Lord has assumed a beautiful form, never before seen. Keshava-dhrita Shukara Rupa Jaya Jagadesha Hare. The form of a pig. You know, the Muslims don't like pigs. They will say haram. If they hear this pastime, definitely they'll not like you guys. Your God is a pig, huh? My gosh, forget it. Definitely you people have to be finished. Because your God is a pig. There's every reason that there will be a difference of opinion. And for materialistic people, Baba, I believed you when you said God is like this in the Vaikuntha and you showed me some form. Now you say he's a pig. What can I do? How can I believe? My faith is not able to wake up even a little bit. And you say God is a pig. As it is, it's very difficult to understand who God is. Now you come with this theory that God is a pig and you describe this. So the Bhagavatam has no diplomacy, doesn't have to worry about anybody. It simply describes as it is. God has appeared as a huge wild boar and he is killing this demon Hiranyaksha. And Hiranyaksha also super surprised. What an amazing form. So, I'm just trying to bring in more detail. You got it? It's there in the 5th canto. So, pardon?
It says 1600 miles or 1600 yojanas or 8000 miles diameter
of the earth. Really? Or maybe I'm talking about the universe. Okay, yeah, it's the universe I'm talking about. 4 billion miles. What is the universe's diameter? So, now what does this signify to us? Hiranyaksha, it is mentioned yesterday, we discussed that he actually exploited the Lord's creation. His name is Hiranya, means gold. It means that he mined the whole of the earth planet for gold, for his enjoyment. And when it became rid of certain treasures that he wanted, he threw it like a waste inside the garbage. Such a huge exploiter. When a person exploits material nature and he uses his profit only for his gratification, and he doesn't care about the connection of the creation with the Lord, or he doesn't recognize or acknowledge it, he is an asura. This is a mentality of an asura. Asuric mentality is very difficult to accommodate for a devotee. How can you be like this? How can you be so callous? How can you be so cruel? How can you be so disconnected with the reality? Asura is willfully doing it. Asurastat viparyayaha. Directly opposite to what the Lord says. And why does he do it? Why does he do it? He gets some thrill out of it. If you read the Asuric activities, you can very clearly say that this person definitely knows Krishna is present. Otherwise, why is he taking so much pains? to go against the Lord. If somebody thinks that something is not valid, I don't believe it, they don't do anything about it. They just don't think about it. But Asura goes out of his way to do something to those people who believe in God and do something to spoil the name of God. Out of his way, which actually acknowledges the presence of God in a different way. It's because of envy. It's because of a desire to be like God. That is the deep internal makeup of an asura. Asuras tat viparyaya hai. So we all have our Hiranyaksha attitudes in the material world. And by good knowledge and by understanding of the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, by association of devotees, we are able to keep it at bay. If we did not have association of devotees, if we did not practice Krishna consciousness, we'll by default fall into that category. Like Prabhupada is saying here, the asuras will go and pray to the demigods and get material desires satisfied. For exploiting, for actually doing illegal, unlawful activities, they will get punya and they will get sukriti, material sukriti accumulated. Then they will use it against the Lord. So the demigods become persons who will actually become instrumental in them doing the wrong thing because they give the facilities. But how can they know what is the intention of any person? Any person who does a particular type of yajna, homa, tapasya, he should be given the benefit. And he is given that benefit. But how will you utilize it? Who knows? According to your intention, you will utilize it. If your intention is asuric, you will utilize it in that way. If your intention is daivik, if your intention is to serve the Supreme Lord, then accordingly you will utilize everything properly. So Prabhupada is saying in the purport elsewhere, we read, that a person who has all these opulences, Janmaishwarya Shutashibir, and is a devotee, will put all that to good use in the service of the Lord. But a person who is not a devotee, who has got this facility, will definitely gravitate towards asuric mentality. Very rarely do we see people using it otherwise. So at present in the world you will see that everybody is interested in mining, deforesting, growing things meant for wrong purposes. See Jagannath Baladev Subhadramai ki. And doing all sorts of experiments and changes and everything which has a demoniac mentality, intention behind. And what is that? I want to challenge this creator. What he has created, I will crack it and find out and redo it in a different way. Redoing what is already done and showing I am better off than you because I could do this. This is demoniac mentality. This is demoniac mentality. Why don't you use it the way it has been created, for that purpose it's been created, and get the hell out of here. You're not supposed to stay here and examine the creation and tear it down and put it together and make a different one and say this is better. What is the purpose? Whom are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? Why do you do this? Is this the goal of life? So some facility is given to me. I should understand why it is given to me like this. What is the purpose? So proper education, proper upbringing, proper culture means you get to know why God has made this creation. What is His purpose? Even if you don't want to call Him God, who made this creation? Let's not call Him God. How did it come about? Obviously it didn't come about like magic on its own. which is what is the proposal given by many scientists. It happened on its own by random combination, by some probability, it happened. So sometimes I wonder, how can great scientific people propound something that is so unscientific? What's the meaning? What's the meaning of saying these things? It's a direct proposal that shows demoniac mentality. Don't want to give credit to anybody else. Definitely we did not create. That I cannot take it, because who created the oceans and the skies and the hills and the mountains? I cannot say I only did it, unless you're a mad guy. I only did it initially. During creation I only did it. That I cannot say. Neither I want to give credit to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So something in between is, by chance it came. Don't give him credit. Who is he? It came by chance. This is a demoniac mentality. We don't want to give credit where it is due. Where it is due. But devotee can easily give that credit. It's not that he is simply fanatic. He is understanding by own good logic and intelligence. Yes, somebody has to have done this. And God can do it because He has unlimited powers as per the description given in the scripture. Mattaha paradaram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya mayi sarvamidam protam sutre maniganaiva. There is no truth above me. Everything rests on me. And from me comes everything. Janmadhyasya yataha. That's the definition. Sarvakarana karanam, the cause of all causes. Anadiradir Govinda. He is the beginning. These are all the definitions given, and it is quite much possible. It is true. Right? So even if you take it as a postulate, even if you take it as a premise, a theoretical premise, and then work towards the other way, you can always revisit it and confirm, yes, it's true because of the following things. So in theoretical science and in theoretical this thing, many times scientists also postulate theories first. Let us say that this is a constant like this, and start from here. It's so that you work back towards it and actually prove it's true, therefore. This concept is true. You mathematically can calculate it. You can do it in many different ways. So science is filled with these type of postulates. And then they come back and say, therefore this must be true. Therefore this is true. And there is a theory, then there is a development, then there is a whole thing. There's even a technology on it. So, you have a different understanding if you're a demon. And that demoniac understanding is something that should be avoided. We naturally think like that. If you're left alone without a culture of God consciousness, it's very natural for you to think the other way. So, Hiranyaksha demonstrates that type of an attitude which can very easily be cultivated these days, especially with our educational system. So that's why it's very important for us to get to the bottom of it and understand what's happening, how is it happening. And if you even take Bhagavatam as a model, you don't have to believe it. If you look into it, if you examine it, you can see it's reasonable. In many ways it's very reasonable. The only thing is, some people think there are too many fantastic things mentioned there. Like what you just spoke about. The God comes as a pig. And in the four directions there are four elephants holding the whole universal structure together. The Digpalakas. And then there are elephant-headed gods that you worship. And all these things are too much. I can't believe it. Definitely, there are many things that you don't know. There are many things that you don't know and cannot know with your puny intelligence. In other words, our reality is based only on our sense perception, our faculty of the intelligence, the mind, the brain. Utilizing these faculties. That's the only way I can touch reality. That is a very, limited understanding you will have. My understanding of the huge reality is limited by my faculties. I will use my faculties only, and within that should come my reality. Because you are assuming that your faculty of thinking, the faculty of analysis, your faculty of your senses, and your body and your mind and intellect, everything can accommodate this huge reality. And if it does not, it doesn't exist for me. That also is not scientifically very good. To assume that I am like yesterday we were discussing how previously in the Christian theology they were thinking, the church was stating that the earth is the center of the universe and it is stationary and we are all very important people, chosen people of God. That great feeling. But when you discover it is not like that, you never want to accept such a model and a theory which doesn't give importance to you. Doesn't give importance to you. Actually, you must accept it because it gives importance to God. It may not give importance to you. And if you connect with God, you get importance for yourself, for your own self-esteem. So, actually this model is very good because it speaks highly of you. You are not just this body. You are not just an accidental occurrence who just comes into being and goes out of being and you don't know where he goes, where he comes from. But the model that's explained here is that you are a very important person. You are eternal. You are connected with the Supreme and you exist forever. This model is far more positive, far more thrilling, far more plausible because it gives you a permanent identity. You don't die. In so many ways it is so good. So any intelligent person will gravitate towards this model. And this is the reality is mentioned. So if you simply exploit the material world on the basis of not understanding yourself, not understanding nature, not understanding God, then you just create a huge disturbance to human society and create a lot of problems for yourself also. Therefore, this Hiranyaksha, don't think this is some demon farm in the bygone ages, something fantastic that I can't believe in very much. Hiranyakshas are there today also. Just that they have not such much great piety like Hiranyaksha had. This mentality of Hiranyaksha is there, wanting to exploit God's creation for one's own gratification. That is Hiranyaksha mentality. And for those people who have that Hiranyaksha mentality, the same Supreme Lord as Varahadev will come and finish you. That's also going on now. That's also going on now. He arranges. He doesn't have to arrange. He doesn't have to personally come and knock you on the bottom of your ears. But he can do it by just sending a coronavirus. And hordes of people can die. So, acknowledging God, acknowledging Krishna is a very important aspect of this Leela. Now, apart from that, we have internal purposes that Krishna has, like I mentioned, Virya Rasa. He wants to enjoy fighting. And he is calling upon his own devotees. His devotees, Jaya and Vijaya, are taking up that role. So when we see the pastime of the Lord, you see many things are happening. Some of them are not in keeping with your understanding at your level. Why is Jaya and Vijaya leaving Vaikuntha? Why are they cursed? How can somebody be cursed in Vaikuntha? How do they become demons? And how do they go back to Godhead again after the 3 births? So, if you examine it in your own way, you will see that all these contradictions you'll have to answer. And they're all very nicely answered in the Bhagavatam. Because the Lord, His love for His devotees answers all questions, makes Him very unique and makes Him very accessible by devotion. And there is no material situation and circumstance that can stand in the way. His desire, His will, that is what is paramount. So, these lessons we should learn and we should apply it in our daily life. The mind is always the instrument of material nature and always pushing us with thoughts, with ideas, and pushing us to act in particular ways. And those are sometimes not the ways of God, not the ways that Krishna has told us to act. So by keeping in Krishna consciousness, we are able to understand what's happening, and we act only on those type of instructions given by Krishna from within the heart, and not simply act out of the pushings of the mind. So human life looks like a life of constant decision making and keeping on the right side, keeping vigilant and on the right side. You can't be inattentive at any point of time. And you have to be executing the right purposes and the right actions. Then it will be perfect. And that is normally difficult in other ages. But in Kali Yuga, all we need to do is to follow the instructions of Lord Chaitanya, is to chant the holy name of the Lord, is to engage in devotional service. Like Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has got a whole wonderful array of services that you could do, and keep one's consciousness fixed properly. That's our responsibility. That's our responsibility. So although it was difficult in previous times to do that, it's actually much easier now. And it is also because the human beings in this particular age not very capable, not very fortunate. So Krishna at all points of time, at no point of time can you find blame with the Lord saying that you did not create the proper facility for me. Sometimes the children can in retrospect tell their parents that you didn't help me with this. You didn't help me with further education. You didn't do my marriage thing properly. You didn't care about it. And the parents may say, yes, at that point of time we did not have this money, or we did not have this situation, not able to do it, or I was plain not interested in doing it. And you know that. But at no point of time can you ever say that Krishna has not created a proper facility for me to be Krishna conscious. You can see Him all around you, everywhere, making facility for you to be Krishna conscious. All the time, sitting in the heart, constantly watching you. He knows all the data of thoughts that go through you, and constantly is putting forth, this is what you should do. Nobody facilitates like this. Nobody can facilitate like this because they don't have the facility. But Krishna has the facility, and He uses it to facilitate every conditioned soul constantly in Krishna consciousness. You can never complain. Never you can complain. But still we do. Still we do. And even those complaints are catered to by the Lord. Even those complaints are catered to by the Lord. So that's why Prabhupada always mentioned Krishna is very kind, he is very merciful. And we do not know how kind he is, how merciful he is, because we don't care to know. By examining these pastimes, we can get to know how deep the Lord's mercy is. He is playing a wonderful event, so everybody will watch it and remember it because it's spectacular. Why should he come in the body of a hog? To make it interesting for you and me. To make it a wonderment and make you wonder why. And in this way become involved in discussion about the Lord. If he came in Shankachakra Gada Padma, you will say, yeah, he came, he killed the event. He does it always. But every time the Lord does something, it's fantastic. It's different. It's unique. And in this way your attention is drawn towards him. So variety, exciting events, adventurous events, and all these eventful things is putting up in front of us and trying to attract our attention away from sense gratification. So we must understand how merciful the Lord is, how much he cares for all the living entities of this world. And therefore we should offer our prayers. If you realize that, you are able to offer a prayer sincerely, feelingly, connecting and understanding the intention of the Lord. Intention of Hiranyaksha is explained. The intention of Varaha is to keep you all safe, to actually rid the world of such demons, to keep it clean so that you can practice Krishna consciousness. Krishna is putting an effort to do that. All the demigods are praying to the Lord and saying, please relieve us of this demon, so that we can continue to do our good activities. We can continue to pursue Krishna consciousness. And the Lord heeds to their request, and he does okay and kills the demon. So these are all not ordinary activities, although we may constantly be hearing about it. We should analyze it deeply, and we should see, why is the Lord doing this? What I can learn from this? What is the message that Lord Varaha is conveying to us? Another important lesson that we can get is Bhu Varaha, that the earth is actually the consort of the Lord. It's the wife of the Lord, Bhumi Devi. And you can't mess around with her. You can't do what you want with her. You can't drill from this side and that side and then do fracking and then take out the oil and then, do all sorts of things that you want. Exploit the earth's resources. Then compete with the earth in terms of seeds which the earth gives. Produce your own seeds and dumb down earth's production of natural seeds. You want to imitate everything that Krishna has arranged and produce it and say, this is better than that. If you do this type of activity, then you will also find similar things happening to each one of us, like it's happened to Hiranyaksha. Look at Hiranyaksha's mentality of thinking, I am great, I know everything. Aham Ishwaro, aham bhogi, balavan sukhi. Like Bhagavad Gita says, I am the Lord and Master, I am the enjoyer, I am strong, I am happy with this. This is what I want. That attitude is mentioned to be Asuric attitude. But people can't understand what you say. What do you mean? Life is meant to be enjoyed. If I enjoy life, it is asuric? What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Morning to evening, sit like you guys and chant Hare Krishna? I can't understand what you fellows are doing, wasting your time. This is our civilization, this is our education, this is our foundation. Everybody is clamoring to enjoy. So the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is saying, it won't work like that. It looks very good initially, but it lands you up in very big trouble. Collectively, everybody gets into big trouble. And repeatedly those messages are coming and we don't register. So actually this is a Hiranyaksha world. And we are not understanding Lord Bohr's message. It's falling on deaf ears. So you can't go against laws of God. You can't live by only man-made laws, because you're living in God's creation. And you have to acknowledge. So we are forced to understand these things. Vasati dashana sikare, what is that? Dharini tavalagna sasini kalanka kaleva nimagna Keshava dhritta shukkara rupa jagadisha hare. On the other side, the devotees are very happy to see the Lord in this form. They glorify the Lord and they pray to the Lord, you are protecting us. And they acknowledge and tell the Lord that we are conscious of the fact that you are protecting, you are our protector, and in this way they offer their prayers. You may not be completely perfect, but you know where you are, and from there you can offer your prayers and recognize and acknowledge the Lord's mercy and His service to humanity. In this way, you get the blessings of the Lord and you advance. This is proper culture. Understanding the authority of the Lord, understanding His position, remaining subordinate to His instructions, and praying to Him, and offering ourselves in service. This is proper culture. Subordination to the Lord is not like subordinating yourself to any authority in this world. Subordination to the Lord is your natural inclination. And in that inclination, when you exercise it, you remain happy, peaceful, and everything happens nicely for you. Krishna created this world so that we may all live peacefully and also enjoy materially. It's not that you don't have gratification. So if everybody follows the laws of the Lord, everybody has gratification, there is plenty, and you can gradually go back to Godhead also. You don't have to instantly become a devotee. You can slowly take your time if you don't want to. So it's a special facility. If we know how to use it properly, you'll get the best of both worlds. That is Varaha's message. And Bhumi's message of how to utilize my services in the service of my husband, Varaha. Om Tat Sat. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nittai Gaura Premanande. Yeah, this is where is it? What's the diameter? Diameter of the universe? Outer dia of Bhumandala. 493.2 million yojanas. That's what I said. It's not like just yojanas, million yojanas. Width of the free space, inner dia of the universe. So 493 million yojanas. I don't know, I don't get it again. 493, let's say 500 million yojanas. Yeah. No, it is the outer dia of Bhumandala, not universe. Inner dia of the universe. Anyway, Bhumandala is 493 million yojanas, which means 493 followed by 6 zeros, yojanas, that into 8, so many miles. That's why it will be very huge. Okay, thank you. Any question or comment? Yeah. Can you put off this fan? Can't hear. Problem.
We say that
Reduce the speed.
we should use natural resources and all. We should not drill the petrol and all.
What?
We say that modern scientists and technology is doing exploiting the earth, drilling for the petrol and oil and all. But then the question comes that even devotees are also using this technology, and it is not that we are not using cars and all. So several times I faced this question, Maharaj, that if you are speaking that, then you should also be practicing that.
Yeah, I'll be practicing that. You won't see me here. You'll have to come and see me in the forest. For me, it is okay. I can manage it. I'll be very happy to eat there and grow my own crops. And for your sake, I'm here. If you don't want me, I am very happy to save the time and go there and build my own small hut and live happily as per these principles. Prabhupada answered that question by saying, a very brilliant example he gave. If a policeman has to do his job of somebody who is speeding in this area 50 kmph only, somebody is driving 70 kmph. In order to catch that fellow at 70 kmph, I have to be at 75 kmph. And somebody cannot say, sir, you are 75 kmph, it's 50 kmph here. No, but I'm a policeman, I have to catch this guy. So I have to do 75 kmph. Isn't it? So, I am trying to do this to correct you. Left to myself, I am very happy to be there. In order to catch you, using this technology, I have to use the technology to catch you. Isn't it? If I don't use this technology, I'll be somewhere, you'll be somewhere, and we'll never connect with each other. North Pole, South Pole. I'm using this technology for the sake of catching you. You may have produced all these things, unless you want to say, catch me without using my technology. Well, I don't want to bother. I'll go and do my thing. And you will only be not having this information. So therefore I'm using it. I'm not attached to it. You can put me in a room without these things and give me my Bhagavatam and my chanting bag. I can happily be to myself. I have no problem. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada could have very well stayed in Vrindavana and sat down and wrote his books there and taken a little prasadam and passed away. But he did something amazing, went around the world and made many people devotees. Now if you're going to analyze everything that he did, see he utilized flights, see he went by train, see he used telex, He used that, used this, and all that. But look at the result of it. Did he become an addict to some flying? Did he like the material facilities so much that he became completely off? Nothing. He remained the same person throughout. The man with the walking stick walking on the beach. He remained the same person till the end, talking the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, encouraging everybody to do. He didn't seem to have been somebody who got influenced by the technology. Right? So if you don't want us, we can go and look after ourselves. You can please tell us through the government. If we are not doing anything useful for the humanity, for humanity, we'll be very happy to wind up and go and stay in the forest, disconnected from all of you. We are very sorry in case we have used your technology without your permission. You are creators of this technology, you say. But I say no. Even that is Krishna's intelligence. Therefore I can use it for serving Krishna. And you are using it for your own gratification. That's another answer. Would you like to pose a counter argument to that? Case is rest.
Srimad Bhagavatam, there are a lot of instances of curse, like even Parvati Devi cursed King Chitraketu, and even here we can see that Jaya and Vijaya got cursed. But this curse, before that they offended the Vaishnavas. So they offended the Vaishnavas, they got cursed, but after that they became more Krishna conscious. So in that way we can say like offense is also good in Krishna consciousness.
Everybody offends initially. They get a few slaps. Then they wake up and they become all right. If that's your logic, yes, true. But if you keep on offending, it's not necessary, no? After you've learned, you don't want to do that anymore. What do you mean by saying, keep on offending and keep on, it is good? No, you can get what you want even without offending. Initially, there is offense. Everybody goes through offensive stage. But they correct themselves. They find it's not necessary to do that anymore. With knowledge, I can do it the right way and learn and benefit and get what I want. Everybody goes through a learning phase. They make mistakes. They have some emotional this, everything. But afterwards they sort of settle down. They become a little more mature. And they know what this thing is about. And they execute it in a mature way. So it's about growing. So you can say that offense happened, but they grew out of it and they reinstated themselves. That's how it is. This does not mean that it's okay, offense now, once in a while you can do. It's part of learning. That type of attitude also is not good. Because Krishna cannot tolerate offense to his devotee. Should be very careful about it. Otherwise you will be ruined. This is clear indication that Krishna is a person. Don't mess around too much. Little you do, it's okay. But if you willfully do it, like these asuras do, then you can destroy yourself. Don't take Krishna's mercy for granted. Don't ask for allowance that is not due to you. Okay? I hope that helps. Any other question or comment? Om Tat Sat. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki